You're watching Fantasy Now Plus.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to tonight's show. I'm John Romaker, and we got Brian Miracle with me, and we are going to do a little different content than what we're used to doing. We're actually going to talk about playoff fantasy football, and if you're not familiar with playoff fantasy football, Fantasy Now Plus is actually running a playoff league that you can sign up for now. It's $10, 13-man roster. Before I get into that, sorry, Brian, how are you doing tonight?
I don't know if you can hear me or not. I cannot hear you. I might have to leave and come right back. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Not if you can.
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, I'm going to leave and come right back because I heard you before and now there's nothing.
Okay, let me see. I'm showing here. Well, while he comes back in, hopefully you all can hear me. I am going to talk a little bit about our roster setup here. It's a 13-man roster, one player from each team to include a kicker. Here we go. Let's bring him in.
There you go.
Are you there with me now?
Yep, and I can hear you.
All right, great.
I heard the intro and everything, and then like once you started talking, it was nope. It's like that's weird.
Oh, good. All right. Well, let's start that over again. And how are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty well. Pretty well. You know, college football playoffs have been disappointing for me, but you know, we'll be all right.
At least you don't got all the turmoil with your organization like I do mine. So you know, we got that Big Ten rivalry going here. So
yeah.
But all right.
I figured I gave you a perfect opportunity to you know throw some salt in the wound and just didn't take it.
I don't. I mean, there's that rivalry. That rivalry will always stand. I mean, I think it's the best one in college football. And we're talking about Michigan, Ohio State for all you that don't know. But you know, with the way that this season ended for Michigan, there is no smack talk coming from my side. I mean, I'm hoping our recent hire there will get us back on the right track and get us the notoriety that we deserve and keep that rivalry going for years to come for sure.
Yeah, you got a good coach. We'll see. I mean, I don't know what the background of why Utah was wanting him to retire, but I think that whether or not he was forced out of Utah doesn't really matter because if he's not ready to retire, he's a great coach, and you guys are going to have probably the best coach you've had since Harbaugh started. I was gonna say since Harbaugh started cheating. So, but you know.
Yeah. While we're talking about coaches, what's your thoughts on the NFL and what's going on with that coaching carousel? Did Harbaugh come by surprise for you, or?
It did, but I was a little skeptical it might happen. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. I know, guys, I pick them well, and I follow a lot of the beat writers. And one of the beat writers had posted that. Oh, sorry, Avery, my dog decided to say hi. One of the beat writers had posted that Mike McDaniel was expected to keep his job unless John Harbaugh becomes available, which was a very odd carrot to be out there, you know, 2.5, 3 weeks ago. And so that made me think, is there something going on there? And then that Ravens article came about him and Lamar, and then the next thing you know, he's fired. So I'm like, there's definitely some smoke that people didn't know about, obviously, unless you're one of the media types that are involved. So,
and the latest news I've heard is, as of what I was hearing them talk about this morning, was at least 7 different teams have already contacted Harbaugh, and you know, based on what's out there, you know, who's been fired already, there's at least one team that still has a coach that they're referring to. So
yeah, well, I saw all 6 openings had contacted, and it's up to 3 others.
Okay.
According to, and I think it was not Shefty, but Rappaport that reported that there's a total of 9 different. And then I did see a tweet that wasn't by anyone credible that said the Jets had called his agent and told him they would be interested if he was interested and they were told not to waste their time. So I don't know if it was a credible, because I said it wasn't from one of the big people, but if I hope that's true.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I don't know
Yeah.
why the Jets are wasting their time with Aaron Glenn anyway. He should be a one and done coach, but it's the
Yeah.
Jets.
That's one of those, just like the Bengals. I'm here in Cincinnati, and the fact that they're still holding on to him, with everything that's going on, I'm surprised he wasn't another one that was higher
Yeah,
up on the hot seat. But we'll
it's
see.
been it's been a weird coaching carousel because I definitely expected some jobs to be open that aren't, and vice versa. Some surprising ones like Baltimore, and I think Atlanta's a bit surprising too with the way they finished the season. Especially, you hadn't even really heard about him being on the hot seat, and the next thing you know, they tied for first in their division, and he gets fired. So
Yeah.
that one, but they fired the GM too. So I think that's one where the quarterback with issues. I think the owner probably was like, "We're going to start over."
Yeah. Yeah. Matt Ryan, I'm understanding is going to have some hand in that pot. There's a lot of your retirees, your
Yeah,
Hall of Famers and stuff that are having their hands in pots with Aikman and the
but
Dolphins
yeah,
and
yeah.
Brady, of course. But well, we're here to talk about Fantasy Now Plus playoffs. We'll get into that here. What I was saying earlier was it's $10 to get in. You can get in at fantasynowplus.com, plus.com / playoff fantasy football. It's $10, 13-man roster, one player from each team. Obviously, there's 14 teams in, so one team will be left out of that mix. A lot of people are speculating that would be Pittsburgh or Carolina. We'll see what we think here in a little bit. That does include a kicker, and it is Superflex format. Submit before your wild card round. Let me change screens here. We're going to actually draft a team tonight, so let's pull up our information up on there. There we go. And let me pull up one more screen here. As I was saying all this information earlier, it is a fixed roster. Elimination rules: when the NFL team is eliminated, then the scoring ends. They'll zero out the rest of the way. Strategy, obviously, to win, you must choose players who will not only score highly, but that are likely to reach the Super Bowl. All scores from each week added up to the Super Bowl highest overall score will win. I believe we do know the teams that have made it. That's from the AFC. You got the Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, Steelers, Texans, Bills, Chargers. NFC, we got the Seahawks, Bears, Eagles, Panthers, Rams, 49ers, and Packers. Any of those surprise you, or were you thinking anything different was going to happen at least by week 18?
I was going to say a lot of them surprised. I think a lot of us, but I think by midseason, not much of that's surprising, other than probably the Texans and Steelers. I think kind of surprised how the Texans really came on really strong at the end, and the Steelers survived the AFC North. Those are probably the biggest surprises for me from midseason on. And then I'd say midseason, I actually remember doing this with Justin, and I predicted the Bears were going to miss the playoffs, and the Lions would be the other team. And obviously, I didn't predict the Panthers. I thought it'd be the Bucks, but the Bears, after I predicted that, became one of the hottest teams in football, and the Bucks became one of the. Oh, granted, the Bucks were good at the time, but they definitely fell apart.
Yeah, they had
What
a
about
weird season. I mean, we had
very weird?
Buga, just tearing it up.
Yeah.
Um, in the
Then they
very
got
beginning.
healthy, and he became an afterthought.
Yep, and I think Baker had a lot to do with. I think he was dealing with the injuries, and I think that played a big role in their collapse per se. But
So you did say something interesting, and I don't know if I see it on the sheet. So help me, though. That way, we're given not just given correct information, but make sure that you said we can only have one player per team that's in it. So like I
it's
keep
we're making the roster out today, or
right.
whenever you sign up.
Is that how me and
And
you are doing it, or is that the rules?
yes, that's
Okay,
both.
that's why I said I didn't see it where it says you only have one player per team. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Let me see. I've it it is. I can tell you that it's one player per team.
Okay.
Where's the 13 at here? I can't find it.
Yeah, I didn't see it. That's why I was asking. Just
Maybe
because.
that's from my that's where I wrote that's from my notes from earlier on before we were approaching the playoffs. We have 13 slots. I can actually show you. This is what you're going to be filling out. Is what we're going to have
Yep.
on the screen as well. But you got your quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and then 3 flex, super flex, and a kicker. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is that right? Did I miscount?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 4, 5. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. Yeah, I got 12. I think you miscounted.
Okay. I apologize. I thought it was 13. We'll
It's okay.
get it going as we pick. I know there's at least one team left out because I've filled out my sheet already. Actually, you can fill out as many as you want. Also, I don't know if I said that or if we've made that known. You can fill out as many as you want. It's $10 each time, so that will go into the pot and whatnot. But let's go here. We'll name it FM Plus. Roster's name is Fantasy. Sorry, guys. I could have had this done earlier.
It's all good.
All right. Well,
So, I think the first strategy is the most points you're typically going to get. Going to be your quarterbacks and super flexes. So
when you go about filling out a league like this, Brian, do you do a playoff bracket ahead of time, fill it out, see who you think is going to go, and then basically pick, kind of from that?
when it's the one and done, you do. But see, the wrinkle you threw at me that I didn't realize, which I hadn't filled out a roster yet, and I read the thing, is that 1 player per team. So like my brain is going a million miles an hour trying to think how you do that best now, because that changes things. Because obviously, if I thought, for example, the Eagles were going to make a run, then I probably want Saquon and Jalen Hurts. Whereas if I don't think that, which I'd probably take Saquon because I can get a better quarterback than Hurts, for example.
Yeah.
So that part has got me really trying to think how I would,
Yeah, it's definitely what are you going to get? You want to see who you want to put the player in that you're going to get 4 games out of, as
yeah, for your biggest scores, yeah.
Right.
Which is why I think you want to look for your quarterbacks. You're probably going to get the most games out of for your quarterback and superflex. So I think that's going to matter a lot on who you think makes a run, and really the 1 seeds. Thankfully,
Yeah,
Sam Darnold. I don't think any of us would want to begin with as a fantasy quarterback as far as playoffs go with what we have, and then you've got obviously Bo Nix. I think he's not a bad one if you trust they can make a run. But I think with this setup, I'm going to go with obviously someone playing on wild card weekend for my quarterback and super flex, and hope that I get the 4 games out of them, which would be sick.
Let's see where you might be or what you're thinking, and I'll even tell you mine first and give you a second to think about it. But my excuse me, my prediction for a Super Bowl is actually one of my predictions. I'll call it that because I have a couple of different things. I'm like, well, what if that happens? Blah blah blah. But my main slate type of breakdown that I've done is actually got Jacksonville and the LA Rams going to the Super Bowl this year. Who are you thinking? Yes, it is a little shocking, I know. But
Jacksonville, I understand what you're thinking, but then I remember it's Jacksonville, and the playoffs in Jacksonville has never turned out well. Not to mention first-year head coach, who obviously I think Cohen's shown that he's got the chops, but I don't know if I think a first-year head coach is going to the Super Bowl with Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence.
I will not put much on that bet per se, but that's just one of my dart throws, we'll call it.
Yeah.
The Patriots are my other option in their place that I've taken. Those are basically what I've dwindled it down to. And my thoughts is I think it's going to be a Pats or a Jacksonville from the AFC.
We're close. Then I think it's Pats or Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I know Buffalo is not plays good, but what happens in the playoffs? Josh Allen becomes superhuman, and the only team that beats him is the Chiefs. And when they beat him, they don't beat him; they beat the defense because in those games against the Chiefs that have been so legendary, Josh Allen is not the reason they lose, and they're not going against Mahomes and the Chiefs this year. So I could see this being the year, even though they're lower seeded, they he gets through and they do it. I
Well, I mean,
don't think
he's
team
got the red carpet.
wise. Yeah, I said
He's
I don't
got the
think
red
team wise
carpet.
they're
You
there.
don't have Baltimore. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah,
But
you're good.
you don't have to deal with Baltimore. You don't have to deal with KC. The red carpet's been rolled out for him.
Or Burrow.
Or Burrow. I just question what they've shown. Since his 6 week or 6 touchdown week, I had him in a couple different leagues, or 2 different leagues, and it's just like I don't know. I don't know. I just think he's vulnerable again on a different
Right.
on a different scale this year.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I team wise, they're definitely not probably as good of a team as he's had in the last several years. It's just the fact that like he's avoiding all of the
Yeah.
best of the best, and in the playoffs, he's kind of the opposite of Trevor Lawrence. He takes his game to a whole nother level. So
Yep.
if I were gonna say though, it sounds like we agree in the AFC that New England's definitely both of our one of our top teams to make it. So, and I think even though May's first rodeo in the playoffs, I think we trust Vrabel a lot. He's definitely a proven commodity at the coach because I think if you go into the Super Bowl, and I will argue this with anybody to look it up, you have to have one of two things, and it's just almost factually proven year in and year out. You have to have an elite quarterback or an elite head coach. If you don't have one of those two, you're not winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So that's where I eliminate Jacksonville because I don't think they have either yet. I do think Cohen could get there. And Lawrence, like I said, the way he played down the stretch, maybe he's about to hit his elite status that we all thought he was going to be. But right now, he's not there for me quite yet.
Yeah.
Whereas Buffalo's got the quarterback, New England's got the coach. So I think those are my two AFCs, mainly for that reason.
So with what you're saying, then do you think for that first quarterback slot, you want to go? We'll just pick that as our AFC quarterback slot, but you want to go with May or Josh?
Let's go, May. We both agree on him.
Okay.
I think that's the right move.
All right. And how it's set up here is it's all sorted by team alphabetically, and then positionally. It'll open up to just the quarterback as you go down, but once you get to the flex, it'll be by position. Yeah, it's took a second to get used to. So all right, there's our first one. So next one we got is the running back spot.
Well, now we got to think who's going to make that run.
Yep. And
because every year in the fantasy playoffs, there's a running back that just not fantasy playoffs, sorry, the real playoffs. But there's a running back that just dominates their way to the Super Bowl. And I'm having a hard time deciding who. Who are you leaning towards? You think is going to be the best running back in the playoffs? Let's start with the NFC on the running back one.
For the NFC, you got to look at how many games you're going to get out of them, and based on my prediction of the Rams going, that's where this whole playing one player from the team comes in, because that super flex spot's going to be critical for potentially Stafford. So then it's like who's going to be facing them in that last game that you're going to get at least 3 games out of that running back position. In my mind, I'm a homer with the 49ers as a fan. I'm worried that they're basically going to lose to the Eagles.
Right.
So McCaffrey is if we had anything going with the defense, which we don't even have a linebacker that started on our 53-man roster now, I would have been a shoe-in that McCaffrey's obviously gonna do that, but we might only get one game out of him. So then, do we take Barkley, who you're going to get at least 2 games out of if we predict them going further?
I think the 49ers, I would think, are going to beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a kind of a coin flip game. And
yeah,
either one could win.
I did take the Niners, but I'm biased. I mean, that's just, you know, I thought we had a better chance of playing better this past weekend, and they
right
laid an egg.
Yeah,
there.
they laid an egg, that's for sure. But before that egg, they were as hot as Jacksonville. I mean, they looked. I mean, so
well,
I
Seattle,
think
we can't take it away from Seattle's defense either. I mean,
right. Yeah, so I think, you know, the team we're not talking about obviously so far in NFC then is Carolina. I think it's safe to say we're only going to get one, you know, player from each spot. Carolina's a good chance we don't take anyone. I don't think either one of us think they're going to win their first game. And then you got the Bears and Packers. They play each other similar to the other matchup, you know, in Seattle. I think that if I have to pick an NFC running back, I probably would go CMC. Even if they don't, only if I get one game, because it's going to happen at certain spots.
yeah.
I think I like the idea of CMC more than the others, because if I'm taking who's going to get the most points from each team, we got to think of that too. CMC is easily, other than Purdy at times and Kittle at times, their
Purdy,
best.
Kittle, and CMC is
Whereas,
points. So.
you know, the Eagles, we could potentially sneak in a lot of different positions. We could sneak in Ertz as our NFC quarterback. That we do. You know, but we could possibly have an AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, or even a Goddard. I'm not sure, because I'm also thinking of that. I'm not sure what Eagle I'm gonna pick later if I don't pick Barkley, right? So
yeah, that's nice that we have the flexes though. It does.
That's true.
It does
gives you more options. Yeah,
give you a lot more to look at, because I mean, you could go 2 tight ends if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
If you think, you know, you
yeah.
get away with it. So
I think I lean CMC for our NFC running back myself. I mean, Josh Jacobs I thought about, but I don't know if I don't think the Packers are beating the Bears, so I feel like we got a better chance of getting more production from CMC overall than we will from.
yeah, I agree. CMC is the where to go. You were talking about the Packers Bears game earlier, and I was thinking about it. You know, Josh Jacobs is a good thought there, and he might still be, but he's also
right.
You know, one run short of being off the field. So, but we'll go CMC here.
Well, and some of these running backs we're talking about, I think there's a chance a couple of them might pop back up in our flex when we get there. But
yeah,
right now I think we definitely got to go with who we think's got the best chance of putting up numbers. So,
all right. Well, that leads us to, we can just stay in order. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah. So go to the AFC running back. I think that we want most.
Yep.
And
we talked about, well, we've already taken.
This AFC running backs get a little more difficult because the best AFC running backs, other than Cook, didn't make the playoffs.
Well, and everything that you said was absolutely valid in the Bills, and just like we were talking with McCaffrey, I don't know that not chalk is Cook. So unless you want to divert from that, I don't know that that's not the right place to go.
Well, yeah, because I think you want your super flex to be from the NFC. I think you want to take a chance of getting the Super Bowl right for your quarterback. So, you know, for that reason alone, I think that eliminates Allen in your super flex. Who else on Buffalo are you starting besides James Cook? I mean, and like you said, chalk wise, he's
no
the
wide
guy.
receivers.
No. Yeah, I think Cook is the answer here. I think that's what I was. I mean, I don't even think we have to even go through and debate the rest of the AFC running backs.
No, I don't know that there's much to say. I mean, his season that he had and everything else.
Yeah.
This format's a little bit different, so I don't have all the stats to be able to just spy it off to you. But all right, well, let's go with our wide receiver, our first wide receiver. We'll say.
Where
We've
you want to
taken
start here? AFC or
Buffalo, San
NFC?
Fran, and New England. Well, we've done 2 AFC. Let's just start with an NFC.
So this is one where I think we might have our first fun debate for a comment you made.
Okay.
I think you got to play Puka here. You mentioned Stafford in the super flex, but if the Rams make a run, Puka's getting the majority of their points anyway. And I just feel like you got to build that team that you can get a lot of points. Even if you get a one and done, I'd rather have one and done Puka than one and done Stafford, I think, because that means that Puka had probably a good day and Stafford didn't do enough.
Yeah. There's no draft that I will ever say not to take Puka.
Right.
I regret not being able to get him this year in regular season. I only got him in one league, and I play in a lot more than that. But I regret not getting him. My only hesitation with him is Stafford is peppering that ball. Adams is back. Adams isn't getting it between the 20s. Puka is. Puka isn't getting it in the red zone. Adams is. And then you throw in Parkinson, Ferguson, and then both their backs. You know, if Corum
But I don't
has
think we
his,
talked about our NFC Super Bowl contenders. I think that's also got to be a factor because we want to get the quarterback right for the
oh
NFC
yeah,
the best we
yeah,
can.
yeah.
So maybe we could talk that at first before we decide this because you are confident in the Rams to Super Bowl. I'm not. I do think the Rams should win one or two games, but I don't think they're making the Super Bowl run. And it's nothing against the Rams. I just think the NFC's so wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Having to go on the road, most likely 3 straight weeks to get to the Super Bowl. I just don't see them being able to do it. And it's not because I don't think they're the best, one of the probably 2 best teams in the NFC. I think it's just the road is going to be so hard for 3 straight games to, go on the road and to make it to the Super Bowl against some very good teams. Because again,
This
the
season,
week,
go ahead. Sorry.
I say this week, I don't think it's going to matter.
Right.
But then next week, there's a high probability you're going to Seattle.
Yep.
High probability. And
I was gonna say that.
I don't know if I trust you to beat Seattle coming off the bye, off their domination of San Fran, confidence flying high. All the rest in Seattle. I mean, that is a hard stadium to play, especially whenever it's a big time game. I mean, it's the reason why it got nicknamed the 12th man. I, I think that the Rams could make a run, but I don't know if they're getting past Seattle in Seattle
I
next
I
week.
I looked up some stats that'll actually back what you're saying with that game in Seattle, and that Seattle's defense is in the last 3 weeks is only allowing 16.7 points against them. Rams is allowing 28.3 points against them. So there's, you know, a 11 to 12 point differential there, favoring Seattle. And the Rams are outscoring Seattle 32 to 26 in the last 3 weeks, but that's only six. That's only, you know, a difference of 6. So based on that defensive, I mean, in Seattle, you know, practically blanked San Fran last week, who was been on fire with Purdy.
Yeah.
They only allowed 3 points, and St. Louis, or wrong team, LA Rams allowed 20 last week. So I everything you said is absolutely true. That there's no lock on the Rams. I just like you said with taking Puka there. I think they could go, you know, balls to the wall on all their offense too. So
I mean, we could go the easy other NFC guy and go JSN for wide receiver one, and we can debate wear to Puka Stafford later.
Yeah.
I'm good
No.
with that too, because I think JSN, we all know, is going to put up some numbers, whoever he plays, even if it's only one game. Darnold scares the crap out of me in the playoffs. Is the only reason why I think they're, but I do think that first playoff game in Seattle, in that defense, like you talked about, I
Mhm.
do think they're going to get the first one. I do not have Seattle going to the Super Bowl. I have Chicago, which kind of is crazy with my own logic of but the way that they're playing as a team and confident. And I do think that Ben Johnson's going to be an elite coach. I think that's the reason why I want to go Chicago.
Yeah. I
If I had confidence in the Rams or 49ers, because I think quarterback wise, I trust their two quarterbacks the most. I just and they got obviously great head coaches, so they got the best combo. I just don't like their path. Whereas I think Chicago is going to take care of business with Green Bay, and then next week they'll probably play either San Fran or Philly at home in Chicago. I like their chances there, and I look for them to play most likely Seattle in Seattle. And I think that I just don't think Sam Darnold's got two playoff games in him.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going NFC.
Okay. Well, we talked about Puka earlier, so let's throw Puka in there as
Well, like I said, we could do JSN if you want to wait and decide on that later.
well, I think there's a good chance that both of them might,
True.
because I don't know who else we would want from Seattle, confident wise.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree
So
with you. Yeah, because Walker Charbonnet both can put up numbers, but you don't know which
cancel
one's
each
going to
other
put up the
out.
numbers. Yeah.
All right, so there we go with that one. We can make this next one pretty quick, like we just said, and if you want to just go
Go ahead
chalk
and
and
put
put
JSN.
JSN, yeah.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Maybe.
There we go. I
There
had a
he
hard
is.
time finding him in mine before too.
Yeah.
All
Now,
right.
wide receiver 3, we probably want to go AFC.
I was getting ready to say that as well.
Who are
So,
you thinking?
well,
We've already used New England and Buffalo, which is fine because their receivers
yeah,
aren't ones we were picking anyway.
yep. New England Buffalo.
Denver's got Franklin Sutton.
You got Nico.
Then,
What do you got for Texans?
yeah.
Where do you think they're? Do you think they're going to win their first one?
The Texans,
Yes, against the Steelers.
I think they should win their first one. But man, this Steelers team, you just don't know what you're getting. But I do think I like the Texans in it. But Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin gives them the two things that you want. Now, Rodgers is obviously not what he used to be. And Stroud has struggled in big games so far in his NFL career more than he has played well in them. But I think I go Texans. That defense, I think, is going to carry
Yeah.
them through. I mean,
That's been my sleeper or my tricky, we'll call it. And I'll actually I think get it into it here in one of the flex positions. Is that the Steelers I think are your they could come out of nowhere and do something for Tomlin and just in general. And I can real quick tell you about them in this game. Their defense, the Steelers' defense, has only allowed 20.3 points the last 3 weeks. The Texans have allowed 22. The Texans have scored more by a margin of 7. So the Texans scored 27 in the last 3 weeks, average, and the Steelers have only scored 20 in the last 3 weeks. So last week being 30 for the Texans and 24 for the Steelers. So the Texans are
last week.
scoring some, but
So last week the Texans game, I don't know if you call that an aberration because I mean it was a weird game. They let the Colts score a lot of points.
yeah, and that
I don't
fluke
know.
with Pierce,
Yeah,
not knocking Pierce there, Justin.
yeah.
We know you want him next year, but Yeah, there was a couple. I mean, not all these stats you can go off of
Sure.
week 18 because you had people resting and things like that. And then you had Trubisky with 4 touchdowns. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, who had that in the cards? But
Right. I think
um, go ahead,
Texans wise, I think we would agree though.
Nico.
Nico's the easy Texan you want to play, so I think he's a good player to put there.
Right. Here we go.
This is the one I'm probably most interested in how we fill the tight end position, because obviously there's a lot of good tight ends, but there's not a lot of elite tight ends in the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah. One
And
that stands out
obviously,
to me, based on this format, and what we have and what we've talked about in terms of games that you're going to get out of them, um, is Goddard. Is who I don't put blinders on to him, but it's hard for me to look away from him. The other one that could be an option is Brenton Strange. Um, I'm not sure who else.
well, you got to think of who you're picking them over on their teams too. That's where I'm
Hmm.
kind of thinking
Hmm.
about, like, Goddard. Ever since Justin said on a show that he wasn't worthy of being on a roster, has been one of the best tight ends in all of football.
Yeah.
Um, so I imagine it's not going to slow down. It's definitely working. But do I want him over a chance to put Barkley in one of my flex spots? That's where Goddard, I'm kind of not sure.
Yeah.
Or we haven't got our super flex NFC. It could be Hurts. I don't think we're going there, but you know.
Well,
Then I go to
the only thing
when you
about
mentioned. Go
the
ahead.
only thing about we're talking about that flex spot based on what everything you were talking about though, that does give us, Caleb as maybe who we lean if we want to go either Barkley or Goddard.
Hmm.
Caleb would be where we go in that flex spot, and maybe we just fill that in. I can jump down right there, and we can fill that in and help us with our decisions. Um,
Okay.
and there is the kicker, um, that we have to fill out being the kicker. So that's something that
Yeah.
most of our leagues aren't used to anymore, with the kickers and defenses slowly
Right.
fading away. So you want me to go Caleb?
I'm good with Caleb. I think they're making a run, and I think he's, if I didn't do Caleb, I mean, then we got to kind of really decide,
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
Jalen would be the only one that you
yeah,
would really want to have any trust in going deep at
yeah,
that position. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
otherwise, I would even not even go with a quarterback between those. If we were locked ourselves out of those two spots, I don't know that I would go with a quarterback in that position, which
right.
I think you're giving away points if you don't.
Yeah,
Somebody
exactly.
could win that without doing it that way. It's not out of the cards, but
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think the most likely is if you get the Super Bowl quarterbacks right, you're in great shape. But that
mhm.
doesn't mean you're
Oh,
there's enough other positions to overcome it. So, all right. Well, then I guess the tight end you're thinking Strange in the AFC. Obviously, I don't think Denver has a tight end worth putting there. I like putting one of their skill players in a
wouldn't have
flex
thought
spot.
that.
Yeah,
Wouldn't have thought that.
Evan Ingram. Yeah, would have. We've already used. I mean, Green Bay would have had a great one had Kraft not got hurt.
Yeah.
Um,
In the
I
AFC,
think.
Gadsden, no, no. Um,
Right. I think I lean probably Strange, especially if Jacksonville makes that run like you think they could. Your tight ends is positioned you need them to be there longer.
and I
And
think
I
that
don't know if
a lot of people
there's.
are going to focus on your wide receivers
Mhm.
from Jacksonville as opposed to just Strange too, because you got three options Not that BTJ's
Yeah.
done us any favors, but
Yeah. Well, of course he'll be on the bench and not be picked, and then he'll be the league winner.
right. That's the way these things go, though. I mean,
Oh yeah.
chalk don't always prove to be much.
Yeah. So the teams we have left for our 4 spots: Carolina,
Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh,
Chargers,
LA now, Denver,
and the Packers.
and Green Bay. So I think we just pick the players we want the most. I'll tell you my opinion on the kickers. You do it last. What's left of your best of the others? Because for me, I think I'd want to go Saquon and Jacobs in 2 of the flex spots, and then decide on that flex. I mean, I think
I'm
those
gonna
are
tell you.
the.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. So
I
I
was
think
gonna
those are the
say
2 easier ones.
one thing I was leaning towards earlier when I was talking to you about stuff is, I really like Gainwell. That might be from doing this show with Justin for the last 2.5 months. But Gainwell, just his how they've involved him with PPR fantasy wise, and I mean DK's coming back, but I just think he could be one of those key pieces that not everybody uses because DK is an option, or if anybody wants to throw a dart at Rodgers. But what is your thoughts on Gainwell as a flex in terms of from Pittsburgh, or do you
Right.
think DK is him coming back after that 2-week suspension with a vengeance, and Aaron looking his way?
I think that I'm not sure I'm going Pittsburgh in one of my.
Okay.
Just thinking out loud, because I don't think they're beating the Texans, but I mean, like they could, but I don't think they are. So it's a one game, and if I'm going one game, I think I'd probably trust DK a little more. I was leaning, if I use a Pittsburgh, maybe their kicker Boswell, because I do think it's a defensive battle. They're going to have to kick a lot, and he's a pretty good kicker. See, I think the flex is where it gets real fun, because for me, I think the first 2 should be Barkley and Jacobs, end of discussion, and then it's that third flex. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's kind of my thoughts.
Barkley is an obvious, based on what we've built here, for me too. I agree. I just hope my team don't look exactly like this. Otherwise, it's fine.
Right.
But and then who else did you just say?
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. I hope his ankle. It's his ankle, isn't it, or was it knee? Hope it holds
It's
up.
both. It's been both. Yeah. But he played last week and played okay. So
So that leaves us then the Chargers, the Steelers, and Carolina, which is what earlier I didn't mean to
and Denver.
cut you. Oh yeah, and Denver. Okay, so there is 2. There is 12. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So then that means do we go? So let's just kind of think about all of the people that we could put in that flex spot. And I think you also want to think about how likely they're going to play, how many games you're going to get out of them at this point too. I think if we go to the Chargers, they could make a run, or they could be one and done. They're more likely, I think, one and done, but I could see them making a run as well. But assuming we go there, I mean, I think you're kind of. I don't think there's anyone on the Chargers that I trust enough to put in that flex spot. Even though I like the rookie running back, I like Vidal. They both. You just don't know if either one are going to do enough. I think we go to Pittsburgh. We got your 2 that you mentioned. Gainwell and DK are very strong candidates. Carolina, I mean, maybe Tet, but again, with probably a one and done situation, I don't know if you're getting enough out of it.
Yeah, Tet is your Panther per se to have, but I think out of what we have left team wise, the Panthers are least likely to go beyond that first game. The Broncos, you have, the opportunity of at least two.
Yeah.
Chargers are a little bit more of the odds, more than Carolina, but
Right.
not quite to your Denver.
Okay, Denver, I think, though, RJ Harvey is a touchdown machine. I almost, we haven't really talked about them or him. I almost
I
think,
blanked on him until you just said. I was like, oh yeah.
well, when we were going through the teams, I was like, RJ Harvey's still out there. I almost think I like him best just because I think you're almost guaranteed to get 2 games out of him. And I think 2 games of RJ Harvey is probably better than 1 game of DK or Gainwell. And that's not to say that they won't make a run as
You're
well,
gonna
but I
get
think it's
you're
more
gonna
likely.
get the game because they got the bye. So it just depends on how you feel with the Texans. Because let's just say I'm just forecasting,
Sure.
but let's just say the Texans win and beat the Steelers. Now you got Broncos, Texans. That'll be a defensive game. You would think probably be a 40-40 game, but
Yeah. I think that goes back to me with the Trevor thing. I just don't trust CJ Stroud to win 2 playoff games. I trust Sean Payton. He's
Yeah.
obviously an elite coach. I guess saying they're going to get 2 games, I guess I shouldn't say that's a guarantee. I mean, anything could happen. It could work out to where they play Buffalo in round 2, and then I'm probably changing that whole thought process because
well, if we
Buffalo's
want to,
because let's see
Buffalo
the
Buffalo
the
would play the Pats, or Buffalo would play
no,
between the Pats and the Chargers.
because the 1 seed will play the 7 or the 6 or the 5.
The way that the
Right?
brackets broke down is the Broncos would play the winner between the Steelers and the Texans.
That's not how that'll work. They'll go with they'll play the lowest
It will
remaining seed.
change. The seed will change the
Yeah,
whole
the
seed.
lowest remaining seed. So that's what I'm thinking. Because if, in theory, I think they can play anywhere for any of the 5, 6, or 7. Is most if they were to get any of them were to get an upset, that was who they would play first. If it goes chalk, 2 and 3 seeds win and 4 seeds win, they'll play the 4 seed. They won't play anyone above the 4 seed. So really, it's anywhere from the 4, 5, 6, 7. And I think I like them in all of the matchups except for Buffalo. Personally.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I think they got the home field advantage too.
mhm.
Could be a piece that does actually play a role
Yeah.
because there's a bunch of warm teams.
Yeah, definitely. So then
We want to ink in Harvey. I'm
I'm good with Harvey. If you're good with Harvey, I think so.
yeah. I didn't. He
I think
totally
we
like
both forgot
slipped my
about him.
mind. Yeah, he totally like slipped my mind, and I was like, oh yeah.
We got a running back heavy flex, but running backs tend to be what you want in the real NFL playoffs. They tend to be I mean, I think it's the weather and I think it's the time of the year. They seem to be the anchors more often than not. You don't see a lot of gaudy passing numbers in comparison to the rushing numbers on the teams that make their runs most of the time. So I think having a running back heavy roster is probably smart.
Yeah, I've said it on a few of our shows. I lean running back in the flex a lot, just because of that PPR potential and the both sides of the ball or both sides of the offense, running and receiving.
And
So
is this standard PPR or half PPR? I don't remember.
I forget what the scoring. I do not. It did not describe.
Okay.
I
Well,
believe it's
Justin,
standard PPR,
we'll
but
need to know that
yeah,
obviously because that can make some bit of
we
a
might have to add
difference.
that on this
Yeah.
sheet here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's why I didn't know for sure because it didn't say it. Okay.
Yeah. I just
Now we
probably
got,
assumed it was PPR just because
yeah.
that's what we're so used to.
Correct. I would assume it is too, but we probably should get that clarified.
Yeah.
Last spot kicker we got between Pittsburgh,
Chargers and
LA, Carolina.
Carolina. Yep.
I would go Boswell here myself. I think they got the most. I think they're going to be in a defensive battle, so more likely some field goals, and I think they got the best chance of the three teams to make a run.
I
So
I think confidence wise, Boswell and Dickers, your confidence,
yeah.
where you go anyways. But I'm good Boswell for sure. All right.
So if everybody copies this lineup, we're going to be all splitting the pot.
But that's all right.
Yep.
Yep. And
Well,
there
it's a
is
guarantee. Even if it's bad, if everyone copies it, we're splitting the pot. So it's the only lineup. But
and if I didn't read it earlier, we are 10% of the total that we do raise for this tournament is going to Extra Life for the 2026 calendar year. And then there is a payout for first, second, and third, as you can see right here, 75% to first, 10 and 5% to second and third. So everybody gets a little piece of the pie, and we get to donate to charity, which
you have until
can't hate on that.
Saturday to sign up to, guys, before the first playoff game. So please get the entries in. Let's get some money for charity. Let's have some fun.
Multiple entries. Get a few of them in.
Absolutely.
We
And
know
don't forget
y'all.
about.
I was just
Go
gonna say
ahead,
we
sorry.
know y'all won some of your tournaments this year and whatnot. So you got some extra money to spend. So put it out there and maybe win some more and donate at the same time. So how did you do with your finishing up of your season?
So I was unfortunately one of the many people that were in a higher seed position that took some lumps in the playoffs. Crazy year for that. I got 25 leagues that I did this year. 14 of them I made it to the semifinals.
I've seen you in a few of them that I'm in. I'm like,
Yeah.
yep, there's Brian. Yep, there's Brian.
Yeah, but I won four championships, so I still consider that a successful year.
Yeah.
Not as good a year as I thought it was going to be going into the playoffs, because I was sitting pretty for a minute there, and then the playoffs got some nice lumps, but made a profit. That's always nice. I mean, I'd love to say we all do this just for fun, but we all know, that financial incentive
Oh
is
yeah.
always nice when you make some money. So like I said, I thought, man, I'm having a heck of a good year. This 14 semifinals, and then no, it did not work out. I made it to only 4 championship games out of the 14. And I won all 4 of them, thankfully, because if I hadn't, I would have really been like, man, you talk about Final Four and 14 leagues and
Yeah.
not even get to, but I did win those leagues.
I
And then,
was I was 5th seed in one and a 6th seed in another, and I made it through. I survived, bit and clawed and scratched my way, and actually won 2 championships. One of my home leagues that I've been playing in for pushing over 20 years. I finally got that one and whatnot. So I was excited to win, but it was not. It didn't look like a chance, especially semifinals match. I was going against Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, and a wide receiver one. I forget who it was now, but I just.
well, I lost to the 6th seed in one of those leagues, and he wound up winning the championship. So it made me feel a little bit better. I was like, he made his little run. I'm like, well, at least I didn't. I'm not the only one he beat. So
I want to apologize. I had my screen blocking all of our comments, so let me look over here real quick. I see Brian and Justin out there. Thank you for joining us. Sorry I didn't tune in to your questions more. This was my first go around with running the ship, so that was a new experience for me. But excited and looking forward to next season already and all the content we're going to bring you. We're always working on content for our listeners. So everybody that's out there, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our show is brought to you by the Fins Talk Sports Network, Fantasy Now Plus, Underdog. Not just playing with Playoff Fantasy League, but Underdog. If you play $5 and put in the promo code FN plus FNPLUS, you do get 75 in addition bonus play. So everybody get on there. You can also do that during the playoffs as well, and that helps us out.
Yeah, and those
And
bonus
then
plays are
as
nice.
we
I
enter
mean,
the off season,
I've made some money without having to put more money in so far. Like once I signed up, I'm still made a profit from just my bonus plays to where I've got money in my underdog that I haven't had to add money yet. So
that's always
it's
good.
kind of nice, yeah. Because even and then what's fun is you throw some Hail Marys when you got free money, right? And one of my Hail Marys hit for a couple hundred, so it was nice. But I didn't cash
Those are
out.
the
I was
fun ones
just
for sure.
enjoying them. Yeah, yeah. Um, are you able to post? Were there any questions on the comments? I mean, are you able to share them? I don't know how they put them on the screen because obviously I haven't ran this part either.
I have that. Yeah, again, I apologize, Justin and Brian here. Let's see. He's talking about updating the form, so he'll get that fixed out for us. It is 12 people. No first-year coach has ever won the Super Bowl. Justin's predicting Texans, Patriots versus the Rams.
Texans. Come on, Justin.
Brian is wanting to know why we can't get Drake May in each spot.
Because you had Tom Brady for 20 years, you don't get Drake May in each spot. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw that weird stat about the playoffs games, 35 playoff games just for Tom Brady, and then 38, like San Fran had 38 and Pittsburgh or somebody had like 36, and then Tom Brady had 35 just on his own. New England was right up there, obviously, because 35 of them were his.
Yeah. Tom Brady's the GOAT. He's a double negative. Went to that bad school and then he played for the Patriots. But I'm willing to acknowledge greatness. So
There, I missed this earlier when we were talking about it,
it's a
but
wide receiver at getting ejected too soon. Sorry.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't see it live. I read it when we were talking about it, over Discord. And if I didn't already say that, join our Discord, Fantasy Now Plus Discord. But I saw that and I'm like, what? That was another one of those fixes being in like the San Fran game.
Well, the high five was for the Myles Garrett sack. The high five on the ref was technically more contact than what Pierce did. So if we want to get technical, if you're going to get ejected for that, but anyway.
Yep. All right. Well,
flex is really hard in this format. Brian, just copy our 3 flex. If you can get them in those 3 in your flex position, you'll be sitting pretty.
all right. Well, I'm gonna fill this out here real quick, and if we do win, all of it will go to charity. But
After we take our cut, no, just kidding.
right. There, we'll submit. All right. Anything I missed or anything you want to say, Brian, before we get out of here?
No. So we predicted our teams. Who's your Super Bowl champs?
Based on the bracket that I've been talking about all night, I'm going with Jacksonville with an upset.
Wow. And I'm going with, this just pains me to say it. The Patriot dynasty starts again. Drake May.
That's pretty much where I've been trying to not lean is that AFC battle between those two, and whoever makes it will go in a lot of my brackets that I'm just playing with. But I've also, not that it means anything, but if you look at the color scheme of the Super Bowl logo, I don't know if you heard in the past how that
Oh,
played a
I've
role.
heard the conspiracy
Right,
theories. Oh
right.
yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I see that teal in that whole upper right section there. That's a Jaguars teal green. So
I think it was actually supposed to go for the Dolphins, but they failed. So it's just don't worry about it.
gotcha. All right, well, we'll get out of here. Thank you all for watching. Once again, you can find us all on Discord. Ask us anything you want. We'll
Absolutely.
help you out all throughout the off season and into next year. We'll be checking out the rookie reports here soon. Going to try and make it over the rookie combine. So until next time, thanks again, Brian, and Fantasy Now Plus, and have a great night.
You as well.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.